thank you for having me in your home, opening up your doors. I mean, it was amazing spending the day with you and the kids and seeing everything. But I just want to talk about your first time meeting Joe in Switzerland during the lockout. What was that like, and how did that kind of come to be?
Well, I met him, he came to check it out for a week, so I met him then. And then he left again, and I didn't know if he was going to come back, and he did. And then I remember the Red Sox were playing the Yankees in the World Series, and they were down 3-0. And he asked me if I wanted to come watch the baseball game with him. And I said, well, how long is a baseball game? And he said, I don't know, a couple hours. And so I went, and it was the longest game in
Major League history.
It was like 7 hours or something. So there was a lot of time for bonding.
And he doesn't.
And I told him then, I said, the Red Sox are going to win this whole thing.
And he doesn't run out of things to say either.
No.
So it was easy. That was the perfect amount of time. An hour is too short with Joe. You need
7.
4 or 5 hours.
You need 7. Yeah.
You need 7. How long did it kind of take for you to be like, was it that moment where you kind of knew, or was it something that had built over time and you knew that moment that this is, because he obviously.
I don't know if I knew that moment, but I knew early, and he took a lot longer.
No.
He took a lot longer. How was it meeting T and that in Switzerland? Did you even expect at that point in your life to ever meet somebody?
No, not like her. I told Gary Bettman I lost $7.5 million, but I brought home a wife, so it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Yeah. Yeah. The lockout. That was good. I came home with the wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Coming over to the States. I mean, you grew up. You never expected you'd be in the States, let alone St. Thomas. So what was it like first coming over with Joe?
When I first came to Canada to visit him, I couldn't find my bearings because it's so big and flat, and there's no mountain to kind of know which direction you're going. That was the strangest thing. The pop-ins at any time, people just pop in. That was something.
We saw that in the Joe interview with Steve.
Yeah, that's just something that I have to get used to. And then I went to Boston. I went to see if I liked it, and I liked it. And then
didn't last long.
No, the day I said to him.
How long were you in Boston before?
7 weeks. And I said, that day, I said, now I feel good. I'm all settled, I'm good. And then that
you
night.
Were traded. And you didn't even know, he said that a little bit, you didn't even know that you could get traded mid-season. Like, what was that like at that dinner? Take us through that dinner.
We had dinner with his parents, I remember, and he got a phone call, and he said it was whoever the GM was. So he walked out and he came back in and he said, I just got traded. And Wayne said, where to? He said, San Jose. And Wayne said, good, that's where Scotty is, his cousin. And I said, what does that mean? And then he said, well, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to play in San Jose. And I said, where's San Jose? I knew it was somewhere between San Francisco and LA, but I wasn't quite
mountains.
sure. Yeah, and then I said, what, they don't ask you? Like, if they just send you? But and my brother was flying in to visit, so his visit was different because we drove to Buffalo for the first game, and then he just helped me pack, and then I left too.
Yeah.
Did you know when you met him, like, obviously, like, it wouldn't be long to know who Joe is, but going to watch some of those games in Davos and then coming to Boston, like, did you realize, like, how much he meant to so many people and how big of a larger-than-life character he actually was?
When he was in Switzerland, you know, he was a big character.
Yeah.
There was his friend Steve was living with him in Switzerland. Yeah. We all became very close, and he always had people coming to visit. And hockey in Davos was more of a social event. Like, I would go watch hockey, but I didn't really know. And then going to Boston, I remember going to the first game I went, and everybody was wearing 19 jerseys. It was crazy. It was like, whoa.
Did you, like, in that moment you realized, and then, like, how was it going into the wives' room? Because, you know, that's, the wives' room is always a thing in
I
in
didn't
hockey.
go in the wives' room. I wasn't there long enough to
You
go in
weren't
the
there?
wives'
Oh,
room.
in Boston, okay. So you got to kind of create, so, you know, you go to Boston, you see the 19 jerseys, you go to San Jose now, and it's like a different level. Even though Boston's such a huge hockey community, like, San Jose adopted him right away, and he was Jumbo Joe. Like, what was it like getting into San Jose with him and experiencing the whole trade and everything after that?
Well, I remember one day being in the downstairs in the wife's room, and Susie Gotch, Marcel Gotch's wife, said to me, "How about Joe? Another 4 points." And for me, it was like, it seemed like he did that every day. So it didn't
That's
seem
nice,
like it
eh?
was special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're from Switzerland. Like, you don't even expect that you're going to be all the way in San Jose, across the world. But how was that community for you and just the Shark Tank as a whole?
It was always good, and actually very early on, I was always in the same seats the whole time he played there. And so early on, there was the same season ticket holders around us. So some of them I got to know better, and we still text. And then actually, yes,
That's
then
awesome.
and I know they're going to be there for his jersey retirement. And then others I just saw their kids growing up, and yeah, it was like the same. It was like a little community in our section.
How was it with Joe sharing? Because everybody wants a piece of Joe a little bit. Everybody wants, because they know how Joe is so friendly and he's so larger than life as a personality and as a person, and so gracious. So for you, how was it managing that, knowing that so many people would always be around and having to deal with that coming into his life?
Yeah, I mean, I think that took some getting used to, but I almost don't remember when it wasn't like that.
So just like from the start, so it never was like something
No,
like that.
because it was even in Switzerland, it was like that. And then in San Jose, it was nice. Dinner, if you went for dinner, people would say like, "Hey, Jumbo," but
Go
it wasn't-
Sharks, that's
yeah,
it. But then,
yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Now talk about, you guys have Isle as your first. How was that transition from becoming couples married to now parents together? And then how was that managing that whole thing? Because I mean, he said it before, you were the rock. You kept a lot of it together through all of it, and through his, he was so dedicated in his sport, so he had to be 24 hours. And it's always the wife, I find, that does so much more behind the scenes. But how was it transitioning from being together as a couple to having Isla come in and be part of your lives?
Well, she was easy, so it was a perfect transition, baby.
Oh, really? Easy sleeping. You got to take
Yeah.
care
Born
of
in the
it.
summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was all good. More love.
Yeah.
It was all good.
And then obviously, like, bringing her to the rink and showing like how is Joe as a dad? We know him as the player, and we know him as the person. How is he as a father, with the great career that he had as well? Like, doing both.
He's great. Very, very involved. Always playing with the kids. Sometimes it makes me feel a little bad because I'm more like behind the scene.
I saw you in the soccer game yesterday.
Yeah.
She competes. Oh, she competes.
You almost took me out, so I couldn't do the interview today.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
You have that compete, which I was like, okay, I see a tease.
Yeah, if I come home and had a bad game, I'd hear from T.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Did you know about hockey before? Or did you kind of learn as you went along, and then you knew, and like, oh, he had a bad game?
That didn't happen very often.
It
Jake.
did. That's a good one. You never did. No.
That's my girl.
I knew a little bit, but yeah, definitely learned. And I love watching sports. So I loved watching hockey, and obviously loved watching him even more.
I wanted to talk about the Sault Ste. Marie one, because you never knew him in junior. How was that experience going to Sault Ste. Marie and seeing the jersey retirement?
It was great. Like, I was blown away. Incredible people. Like, the community there was an exceptional weekend for all of us. Like, beautiful. Everybody was great. Yeah, it was emotional. It was awesome.
It was special.
Yeah, special.
Was it cool to see his like life before you, like his kind of like part of his childhood, his teenage years, seeing the Billett family and
Yeah, and some of his teammates.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
They put on a couple more pounds, but they're still the same guys. It's great.
I saw a couple of them. Yeah. How is that going to compare, you think, to the Sharks, and what are you looking forward most to with that ceremony coming up?
I'm looking forward most to seeing a lot of people that we haven't seen in a lot of years.
A lot of years, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Just seeing the wives and the guys and getting that community, because
and seeing him with the guys.
Yeah.
yeah, what do you love most about seeing him with the guys?
Oh, he gets loud and excited, and that's what he loves most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, hearing him talk.
But we would always have the boys over for dinner. T would always cook the dinner. You know, the young boys needed a good cooked dinner. T, okay, get the young boys over. I'll cook up 6 steaks and potatoes or whatever. But T was always the guy's favorite to come over and get a dinner from.
Well, you opened the door. What did it mean to you in your career and your Jersey retirement, having T with you along the way?
Oh, it made everything so much easier. She let me focus in on hockey. She did. There was Dad needed a nap, and T took the kids down and made sure they're quiet, and everything was cool, dinner and everything. And she did all the work. I did all the playing. She did all the work, and that's how we were for years. And she's still doing all the work, and I'm still playing. So it works out great.
I was gonna say he hasn't cooked, did one thing here, so I was wondering.
No, I actually remember when I first came to Boston, he got this new barbecue, and I figured he was going to barbecue, and right away I realized that was going to be on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about the pop-ins, like we have one there with Wayne and
There's Mom and Dad right
Wayne
there.
and Mary. How is it? And Joe talked about it a little bit yesterday. Like, how important is it for you with the kids to have all these different communities? Like, even playing, like being able to go to San Jose, also being able to go to Switzerland, spend some time, coming here to Canada. Like, how important was it for you, the kids, and also Joe to have that separation and be able to do all these things all the time and create this kind of little community you have in different parts of the world?
Well, it would be nice if it was closer and you could go to all these places quicker. Like, you know, time always runs out too fast wherever we are. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you, is there something you miss the most about Jumbo playing? Or do you like?
I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you miss most? Just the community of it, or watching him skate and play and warm ups and?
You know, I made so many really good friends. So I missed that part of it, and I don't know, it was just special. And you don't realize, for many years, you don't realize that it's gonna end.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I really knew this was my last time at something like this was the World Cup in Toronto, and I soaked it in all the way, I remember. And because I knew there wasn't going to be an international tournament like this again, where he was playing. Yeah, special. Everything was special. Honored that I was part of that. And you know, I think most of the wives, that's just how it is. It's about them, and you're in the background, and you just keep the plate clear for them. And I think that is it's not like the glorious life that people think most of the time. It's actually,
It's hard.
yeah. Well, I don't want to complain at all, but it's a different kind of life. You know, they leave for 2 weeks, and you get back in a routine with the kids, and they come back, and everything is like different again. And
I remember.
And then how was it, like, his first month retiring? Were you kind of like, get out of here?
it was just came as a surprise, because he was still training all summer, and then we had to scramble to make a decision, where are we gonna go. School was starting a week later, and you know, the actual retirement announcement didn't come until a year later. Yeah, and even, I have to be honest, I don't even know, I wasn't ready either. It was
We're having too much fun, and we still do. Yeah.
but now it's all good.
Yeah.
Now it's all good. Yeah, it takes, I mean, it took me a little bit just.
But I remember, River was like maybe 4 years old, and we had the house, and I put the hockey net in the living room, and that's one thing we're not doing, is putting the
Full-size hockey net.
Full size in the living room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the line? Like, that was the line. Like, what other things did you have to be like, hey, Joe? Because Joe gets away with a lot at the rink,
Yeah, but
at the rink. But like at home, you got to make sure
I kept
that
it pretty tight.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
kept it
think
tight. But the hockey net was, hey, that stays outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that said, no, put her back out front. Yeah.
there was years he barely ever even showered at home. He would, even on a day off, he would go into the rink to shower. He just loves those showers at the rink.
Yeah.
he loves the showers at the rink. I've been there. You were always a big supporter. I mentioned I was going to ask you about this, but when they left Jumbo off the top 100 list, you were pissed, and we could say it
How do you know?
because I just know.
Yeah.
I have my sources. As a journalist, I have to do my.
You're behind
I
the
have
scenes
To, I
now.
have to.
Right.
I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
Like
that
'cause-
was right.
Yeah, because you know Joe and you've seen him and Bias, and we all know that we think he should be on it. But for you, what you were almost mad for him in a sense because he's a player, he's going to say the right thing. But what about it kind of that you didn't like and the way it happened maybe?
Well, I remember clearly thinking he was going to be. He was going to be. It wasn't even a question for me.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't. I don't know. It just sometimes it felt like a little bit, San Jose, West Coast people got maybe not considered or looked at as much, and I don't know. I just felt. But it's whatever.
Yeah.
I like it. Good. I like it. I like it. San Jose, they have no respect there.
No, there is. There is.
No, being out in the West, you lose
It's
some
late
things. It's
games.
quiet.
Late
It's
games.
late
Yeah.
games, and it's late games, and
Shouldn't be an excuse because they can watch them in
No.
the morning, but whatever.
what's something? What's that kind of now that he's kind of done something with the Sharks or stayed with the Sharks? Did you think you'd be back with the Sharks now in this
No.
role, or is it surprising to you? But is it something that you're welcoming, being like he's staying in the game, being a part of it still?
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to go back to San Jose, but it's all good now. I like, Mike is there and Tom,
Yeah.
and now Chloe is there. So it's good. It's good for him, and it's good for River to still be, around the
boys.
rink.
Around the
and-
boys,
Yeah.
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 Anything more you want to kind of touch on in terms of being proud of what you've seen from him, how he handled his career as a dad, as now on the backside of it,
We've done it okay, me and you, eh?
Yeah.
like just amazing, and seeing the life you guys created together. And I always said, and we talked about it a lot, like after all the games are finished and the whistle's blown, it's the family that you leave with, and how proud of you that the family you guys have created and the community you've created throughout his whole career. Like you're a huge part of that as well.
I'm not proud. I'm thankful.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can't take pride in your friends. You got to be thankful having those friends or having family like we have.
That's
It's not something we create. It's something we have to be thankful for, right?
That's a great way to put it. She is the brains of the operation around here. She is the brains.
And we have fun.
That's
we
a great line.
smile. We've smiled we've known each other for almost 20 years now. And we smile every day. We enjoy every day together. Don't we?
Yeah.